Okay, welcome. I'm glad you're here today. We're going live, and I want to know I know you're struggling, I know you're praying, but you have to be ready when He calls. So, what that means is if you're out there and you're praying because you're struggling to make ends meet, like I was, and you're asking the Lord Jesus to show you a way that you can help yourself make a second income, because maybe you're dipping into your savings each month because you're retired and living on a single income. Maybe you're working and you're thinking about retirement, but you're like, there's no way I can retire right now because I can barely make it from month to month right now, so I can't retire. I need to do something to supplement my income. And you're thinking, how am I going to do that? I don't want to pick up another 8-hour a day job. So what can I do? And you're praying and you're out there online, because that's where you go for education and information. Well, I've been there. I have been there. But my little bit about me, I'm Jenifer. I'm 58 years old now. At 57, I was burned out. I was overlooked, undervalued at my job of 24 years, and I was eligible for retirement. So I took it. And I knew that eventually I was going to have to supplement my income for a little while, but I took a whole year off, right at a year off. And I decided that I just needed that time just to chill. So I didn't, pray at that time to start finding anything, because I knew I wasn't ready yet. So it was no sense in me praying for answers when I wasn't ready. But come January of 2026, I had been retired that year that I gave myself, and I needed that second income. And boy, I didn't think I was going to need it as bad as I did, because some unforeseen things happened in my family life that I ended up having to use half of my savings. And you know how they say, have a whole year's worth of income in case of an emergency? Well, thank goodness I had it, because I had to use half of it when my dad passed away and I was inheriting my family home. I had to use half of my savings to complete that inheritance. And because I wasn't ready to sell my family home. Well, now it's we're in the end, mid-June, a little bit of latter part of June. And so in January, I started praying, and I was searching for a way to make a second income. And if you're finding this video, then I know that you're in the search too, to find a way to make a second income. And you're a Christian woman, you're praying about it. And you really, because you want to follow what He wants you to do. But you have to be ready when He calls. So when you're praying, you have to be ready to take action. And if you're not ready yet, then you don't want to be praying yet for it, because He's going to answer you. And sometimes what He answers you with is not anything you expected it to be. And take it from me, I was looking online, and I was thinking that I was doing the research and everything. How do people work from home and make that second income? And so I was Googling things like that. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to briefly, I'll just give you a little feedback on my story. I was thinking about, different ways to, maybe because when you inherit a house and it comes with all the stuff in the house. So I was thinking that I was probably going to and vintage things are in, like vintage clothing and things like that. So I thought, well, maybe I can sell my parents' clothing and things like that instead of just giving them to Goodwill and make a little bit of extra money that way. And then, oh, I've got China and all of that stuff that I don't use. So I thought, okay, well, maybe if I, instead of having a big yard sale, maybe I can take pictures and put those out there on eBay and everything. So I was researching things like that because I really, I just wanted to supplement my income. Well, then, like I said, this half of my savings went, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need more than this, $20, $30 here and there. So I really started praying. I was like, oh, Jesus, I need a substantial income because I need to put this money back. And it was like $50,000, that I need. So basically I needed an annual salary again. And so I needed to put back into my savings so that I could make it until my 60s and get my social security on top of my retirement, which I was getting through public education. I was in the HR. I was an HR professional, had a degree. I have a degree in everything. And I was an HR professional. So I was making a good income. And I knew going back to the 9 to 5 wasn't going to pay me what I needed to put back. Because I've got to make it until, if I decide to take my Social Security at 62 and I'm 58, then I need to really make some money to put all of that back so that I can make it till I'm 62. But I preferred to wait till I was 67 to take my Social Security. So that meant I really had to come up with an income. And that may be where you're at. Maybe you just don't need to supplement it. Maybe you really need to make a substantial income like I'm thinking I have to do. So I'm ready. I knew I couldn't sit at home every day and watch TV and expect that I was going to make that income sitting there watching TV. I knew that. So when I started to search, just like I'm trying to talk you through this process, if you're out there searching, you have to be ready for what he's going to call you to do. And it may not be anything of what you think it is. Because what I'm doing right now, I never in a million years thought I would be doing. I had no social media skills. I was never on Facebook. I didn't need it for my job. And I wasn't that person that wanted to share my daily day-to-day things like a lot of us do. So I just, I never got into social media. But when I was researching how people are making a substantial income online, they're doing that through digital marketing. Okay. So when I read that they're doing digital marketing, I had to figure out what that was. So I looked up what is digital marketing. And when I did, I found out that it's using social media platforms to make an additional income. And I was like, oh my goodness, well, I don't know anything about social media because I never got on it before. And so I was like, okay, well, I have got to figure this out. Sorry, I've got to find another pen so y'all can read what I'm writing down here on this board. So anyway, I decided, well, I'm going to Google that. I'm Googling everything else, and looking up what in the world are they doing. So when I found out digital marketing, I said, okay, well, I've got to figure out what is digital marketing and how are they using social media to do that. So that's what I did. And so I started looking up digital marketing trainings and stuff. And when I found a YouTube video like I'm making right now. And I found this video of this lady, and she said, I'm making, and I don't know exactly how much. And it really wasn't about the money so much she was making, even though it caught my eye because she was making a substantial income. And I want to say she was making, maybe $6,000 or $7,000 a month doing digital marketing. And I thought, well, that's exactly what I need to do. That's what I need to make. And she was talking about how she learned how to do this digital marketing. And I was like, well, I wonder what that is. So I watched the video, and she explained this training was beginner friendly. Oh, much better pen. It was beginner friendly. Okay. And she said that I could work from home. She said I could be my own boss, and I could work as little as 2 hours a day. And when she said all this, I was like, well, that sounds wonderful. That sounds like what I'm looking for. Because I had already been retired for a year. And so I was used to being off, and I didn't want to go back to the 9 to 5 because I had left that 9 to 5, and I didn't want to feel like I was going backwards. So maybe you're feeling that same way too. You're going, goodness, I've got to make this extra income, but surely I don't have to go back to the 9 to 5. I just left the 9 to 5. Or maybe you're working the 9 to 5 and you go, I can't put another 8 hours on top of that, but I need to supplement my income. How can I do that? Well, if you're working 8 hours, you can add a couple hours to make that money. And then there's people, it's a proven system that I'm training, that I'm using to learn. It's been proven that we can work 2 hours a day and make that second income, supplemental income. There's people that are even making it, and it's their only income. I mean, they have been able to quit their jobs. I mean, there's a lady, a gentleman there's a lady, Christine Hill. She's making over $100,000, and she's in her 70s. There's a gentleman out there, Tim Hess, and he's making 6 figures. There's a gentleman that used to be a welder, and his name is Daryl Hannah, and he's almost made $1 million. So it's a proven system that works. All we have to do is invest in ourselves. Okay? So you got to invest in yourself, and you got to believe that you're worth. Invest in yourself. All right. That's what I did when I decided to purchase the training. And you're probably going, well, Jenifer, here I am struggling, and I am too. I'm struggling. And I was like, but it was worth it to me to make that investment so that I could learn what they're doing and how they're doing it, because I don't know anything about how to work the internet like that. I know how to go out there and look and search for things and buy on Amazon and things like that. Yes. But to actually do the behind the scenes things to get this video out there, I didn't know how to do that until I purchased the training and started learning it. So as of last Thursday, it's been 3 months. Okay. Only 3 months. And I'm already, putting YouTube videos out. I'm doing live videos like the one right now. And thank you so much for coming on. And if you want to chat with me, ask me any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask me questions. But basically, I've learned a lot. I mean, I've learned how to build web pages, email automations, and they help us. I mean, we don't do it ourselves. They help us. There's modules in the training program, and we just follow everything step by step. So that's what you got to invest in yourself. And then the training is step by step. So anybody can do it. I mean, me at 58, I'm learning how to do it. I mean, it's amazing. I didn't have any social media skills. It's step by step training. And then it's a step by step. at your own pace. At your own pace. And then there's live workshops. So you're going to get actual people too that will help, through this training. And me, you interested in it, you're going to see me out there. And so basically, to learn what you have to do to make that income, you have to go through a training. And we know that we want to go through a training. I mean, we're not in our teens and 20s where they learned it in kindergarten, and they're just progressing as it. Well, whenever we were in college, I mean, I know when I started college after high school in 1985, there wasn't computers were just coming out. So everything now is evolving so quickly that's what's beautiful about the training. Once you invest in it, you're in, and they're updating it all the time because everything is changing and upgrading. And we're getting the upgrades in real time, and we're learning and earning at the same time. So I took the leap of faith that when the Lord showed me this is what he wanted me to do by telling me to cast your net out there in the internet. And so, like I said, I've only been doing this for 3 months. I've got content out there on YouTube. I've got content out there on Instagram, and I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know anything about YouTube and setting up a YouTube channel and making videos and posting them and making thumbnails and cover sheets and covers and overlays and carousels. I mean, you're going to learn all kinds of things. And it's at your own pace. And there's a community. Like I said, once you get the training, you're also get access to a community of people that are out there doing it. The same training, they're implementing it and they're putting it out there and they're making an income. And then they're helping us as we come in and we're new and we've got questions. We go in the chat and we say, hey, I don't know what a thumbnail is. That's why I put that in when I first started, I was like, they're telling me I got to have a thumbnail. I don't know what a thumbnail is. And then someone will come in and go, oh, Jenifer, it's the little picture that goes on the outside of your video. That's a thumbnail. And they said, go to such and such and you can get a template for it. And you can, put whatever you want on there. And then I, put my face because you want to put your face on there and a title. And then I added it to the video. And I'm like, okay, well, now I know what a thumbnail is. So what I'm saying is you're never alone in the process. And it may not be what you thought you would be doing, but the Lord knows us better than we know ourselves. And he wants us out there, and if he led you to this video, then he is saying, you've been praying for a way to make a second income, and I'm showing you, and Jenifer is here talking to you about it. And I'm a Christian woman. What I wanted to do was I wanted to work online. I wanted to be able to say that I do love Jesus, but I can also go out there and make money and tell you that I love Jesus too and make money at the same time. So I wanted a faith-based business. I wanted to be able to truly connect with people and share my faith, share my passions, and actually then make an extra income. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm creating Christian content. And it's okay with him because he's the one that told me to cast your net. And when he did, I was like, I didn't second guess him. I didn't know what the heck I was going to be doing. I didn't know. But I trust him, just like Simon Peter did whenever he was out there and the other disciples on the boat and they weren't catching any fish. They came home that day and they didn't have any fish and they were tired. Jesus is on the shore and he says, go back out there one more time, Simon Peter, and I want you to cast the net on the other side of the boat. And Peter was like, "Is that you, Jesus?" And he said, "Yes." And he says, "Okay, well, if that's what you're telling me, I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to cast it on the other side." He didn't say, "No, I'm too tired. I don't want to do that right now. I'll do it tomorrow." When Jesus said, "Cast your net out there again," he went back out there. So that's what I'm saying about you have to be ready when he calls you. So if you're praying, you better be ready to take action and cast your net. You can't just be praying and and then do nothing about it. All right. So that's what I did. I cast my net out there. I trusted him. And there's 5 billion people on the internet. There's 5 billion people getting on the internet every day. Well, there's 5+ billion people getting on the internet every day. So there's room for all of us that want to work on the internet and want to work from home. And we want to work at our own pace. And just think of it. You only have to do it 2 hours a day. Once you learn what you need to learn, or you can just start out doing 2 hours a day. I had time to do a little bit more so I could, because I am 58, so it's taken me a little bit more of a learning curve. And but that's okay because I have the time. So I'm learning, putting it out there, and I'm tweaking things and getting better. And you can't overthink it. That's what they tell me, the experts. They're like, "Jenifer, don't overthink it. Don't worry, you're not supposed to be perfect." And God knows I'm not perfect because, like I said, these videos, sometimes it's a little intimidating to be alive right there, and asking you to chat with me and everything. And I'm looking at a dot on a screen and hoping that you're out there watching me right now and wanting to know more about what I'm doing. But I do it because the experts say this is what we need to do. So I'm learning at the same time. And I'm able to put that out there and I'm able to be myself. And because I know we all have our own personalities, we have our own ways, and everybody's different. That's what's the beauty about the internet. You can just be yourself, but you're going to connect with other people that are like-minded. We don't have to be the same person, but we're like-minded. For instance, I want to connect with other women that are like me, that are in their latter 50s. We're Christian. We love Jesus. We like sharing our stories, about Jesus. But we need to make that second income. And so we connect with one another that way. We want our own business. We want to work from home. We want to have time to go to church during the week, or we want to be able to volunteer at the church or volunteer in the community. So we still want to have time to do that. And you can through this digital marketing business that you're going to be doing online. But you have to be willing to take that step when Jesus says, "Hey, this is what I want you to do." And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm finding out that the reason he wanted me out here is he wanted me to evangelize. I didn't know I was going to be evangelizing for him. I didn't even know that was a thing, or that I could evangelize for him and, create Christian content. And that was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. But I'm also learning other things that are things out here, that the passions and the gifts that God gave you, the talents that he gave you. Like, say, for instance, you have a green thumb and you love gardening. You can make an income by just videotaping yourself using products and making a container, garden, going out there and deadheading your flowers and everything, and showing people that, hey, if you cut the dead flowers off the flowers off the plant, that it'll produce more blooms. Things like that people don't know. They just plant them and then they wonder why they only got one flower, and when they could have had multiples several times because they didn't deadhead them. And But you can show them things like that and you can make an income. Say that you're a crafter, you like scrapbooking. You can have a beginning scrapbook course and you can make that, and you'll learn how to do that through this training and how to put that video out there and reach other scrapbookers or potential people that want to scrapbook. And maybe you're an intermediate or an expert scrapbooker, where you can make all of the little pictures and cards and all of that to put on the pages next to the pictures, all of that. I don't know anything about scrapbooking, but I've seen it. But just think, you can show people, because everybody's got photographs that they want to keep like that. So that is still something that people want to know. And say, for instance, you're a baker. You can show them. I'm sure you've been out there on the internet and you see these videos of people making things and you're trying to catch it real quick and write down the recipe, or you're watching them. Well, just think, that could be you. And you could use your gifts. And by using the gifts God gave you, you're evangelizing for him. Because you can say in the video, you could talk in the video and go, the Lord gave my mama this recipe, or my great grandma, and she passed it down to my, grandma, and then my grandmother passed it down to my mother, and my mother passed it down to me. And so this has been in our generations, and God, led me to here because I want to share it with you. How wonderful would that be? So if you're out there and you know how to use Facebook and you've been using it, wouldn't you? It's a no-brainer to want that you can make money through Facebook by putting content out there. So the training program has some things that I want you to think about. You've got to be coachable. Okay? Am I coachable? Am I willing to learn new skills? Am I willing to make content like what I'm doing on YouTube? And it doesn't have to be YouTube. You don't even have to show your face. This training will show you a ways to make content, and you don't ever have to show your face. There's all kinds of ways, but it's called content. When you make something out and put it out there on the internet, through Facebook, through YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever platform you want to use, you can use to make an extra income. And then you have to be consistent. Okay, that means you've got to put it out there. Once you start, you got to put it out there, something out there every week. Okay, and then you have to implement it, meaning you do have to put it out there. So maybe implement should have come before consistent, but implement. So you have to implement what you're learning. And if you're willing to do that, then this training is for you too. Just like me, you can learn it and you can do it too. And it's a beautiful thing that you only have to do it 2 hours a day and you can earn an income. Okay? You can earn an income. And there's other ways to earn income by selling the training that you invest in. And so that'll be another video live that I'll put out there next week. Is how to actually make money by selling the training that you purchase. But let me give you a little tidbit that the training ranges anywhere from $100 to $1,400. Okay, so there's different levels that would meet you where your need is, and you can learn. And of course, you're going to learn everything under the $1,400 level, but the $100 level, you'll start learning some of it. And then as you want to move up, as you learn, you can then purchase the other levels in between. But I went ahead and invested in the max, the $1,400, because I wanted to learn everything I could. And all I have to do is sell one training and I've made my money back. So if I got just one customer a month, I mean, or a day, say, I can make that $1,400 that day. Just think, if you went to work for a 9 to 5 and you were making $20 an hour, that day you would make $160 in an 8-hour day. And just think, if you sold one training, you could make $1,400 in a day. Would that $1,400 help you put that money back into your savings quicker? Yes. If you ended up having 8 customers a month and you were selling the $1,400 training, you could make over $100,000 in a year. That means you only had to get 86 customers in 12 months. I mean, just think about it. That's not very many people. And you can make over $100,000 in a year. That's doable when there's 5 billion people out there on the internet every day. So just think about it. And then you're doing other things as well, making money. Like I said, you're putting your how-to videos out there. You're out there, and if you've got products that you use when you're doing your gardening, and they have an affiliate program, you can make money off of those products because you're showing those products in your video, and they'll pay you for that. That's called affiliate marketing. So there's multiple ways to make income out there, but you have to learn the training. And being that you're like me and you're in your latter 50s, we got to go through a training to learn it. And so if you want to know more about the training, or you're here and you want to, pray a little bit more about it, and you want to learn, you want to say, okay, Jesus, give me some more insight, that's fine. Just say spiritual in the comments, and I'll get you a free guide. I've made a free guide that will help you spiritually discern what the Lord wants you to do. So if you're going to say, I'm not ready yet, Jenifer, that's okay. It is okay. But I wouldn't be praying so hard every day and wearing Jesus out with your prayers if you're not ready yet. So maybe you need to get my guide first and discern what it is you're looking for. And then that way you can hone in on your prayer, so that then he can help you understand that this is what he wants you to do. Okay. So to get my free guide, all you have to do is say spiritual in the comments, or you can click on the link below this video, this live streaming. There's a link, and it's www.cast your, and it's URNET.com/guide her. Again, that's www.castyournet.com/guide her. And if you click on that link, if it's not blue, you're going to have to type it in there. And honestly, I don't really know. I haven't learned that yet on the lives. If it's blue, you can click on it. And if it's not, you're going to have to type it in your search engine. But when you do, it's going to take you to my webpage, and you can get the free guide that will help you learn and discern what Jesus has plans for you. You can journal in there. It's inspired by him. I wrote it from the bottom of my heart. I want you to succeed, and I want to succeed out there. And I thank you for coming in. I thank you for watching. If you're out there and you didn't want to chat, that's okay. Next time I'm on, please get in the chat and say, hey, Jenifer, and tell me where you're from. I'd love to talk to you. And y'all have a great evening. Thank you. Bye.